You fellas ready for possibly the coldest take about Destiny 2 of all time? And it's going to be like a year late. Look, listen. You got to hold on to something. It's absolutely crazy. The Lake of Shadows rework is kind of not great. Kind of not good even. Kind of bad. Perhaps even. So yeah, it has problems. I'm just talking about Lake of Shadows here. I think the arms dealer rework is fine. I not too much to complain about there because it doesn't like destroy the flow of it too much like it does with Lake of Shadows. I do wish we still had the old versions. I know I've been championing we need the world to tell the story just as much as the missions. But like that doesn't mean we can't have the old version of the Strike too, in my opinion. I want it to be like Taken King and Rise of Iron, where we had the Taken version of the Strike. We had the Siva version of the Strike. I want that. But I also want the old stuff too, just like Taken King and Rise of Iron. It brings more diversity and things to the different Strike playlists. Because here's the thing. We could have the Nightfall version of the Cabal Loyalist version of Lake of Shadows at one part during the season, and then Bungie just throws a curveball and does the old version. Do I think the old version needs a few changes to bring it up to the rest of the Strike standards? Sure. The way it was done, though, wasn't great. And honestly, the first payload section of the new Lake of Shadows, I don't have a problem with. I mean, it's a little annoying because oftentimes everyone just runs away from the payload as far as possible, and then they're like, why can't we progress? Because you gotta stand on the fucking triangle to make it go. People don't understand that. So that's annoying. But like the first section has enough enemy density to keep it somewhat interesting, I guess. And there's like a couple champions and things. It's still not great, don't get me wrong, because if we just had to slay out and move on, it'd be way faster and more engaging. But sitting on the payload until it's done is just like, I don't know, time to fit in a goon sesh. Because I gotta sit here on this fucking payload for 5 minutes. Like, bro, Bungie, like, I know you didn't appreciate that we were speedrunning Lake of Shadows in insane times. But, like, you don't have to make the first payload section take longer than a speedrun of Lake of Shadows. Like, that's just insane. There were things you could have done, like making the final boss's health larger, adding a few more enemies here and there, because it was made for year one Destiny 2, when it was double primary. We've evolved past that, and the Strike has seen like one change before this rework, and it was always considered like the easiest Strike. So I think there were better avenues to go down to rework it than the payload. The first one, again, not the worst. It sucks, don't get me wrong, I don't like it. But the second one is so much worse because you're actually just sitting there doing nothing for half of it. Like, genuinely, I look at my phone during the second one a decent amount of the times that I do it. Because, like, there's nothing happening on my screen that's important until you get to the fucking lake. And then you kill the servitor, detonate it, which detonating it is fucking wild in my opinion. Because the blueberries don't know that you have to walk up to the thing and hold square, or E. Mine's E. I don't think it even like gives them a prompt to detonate the splinter. I genuinely don't know, because I don't look at it, because I just know, oh yeah, you gotta detonate this shit. Boom. And look, I'm not saying it's absolute dog shit, but like it went from like one of my favorite strikes to one of my least favorite strikes. I would love to see some D1 strikes come back. They're still amazing in Destiny 2. I think one of the best strikes in Destiny 2 is Devil's Lair. I think the Brigs add a level of difficulty to that section that improves it. I think all the changes they made from D1 to D2 regarding Sepix Prime is like great. I think those are great changes that really improved it. I think the arms dealer changes are fine. I don't have that much of a problem with it, especially the beginning part. The final boss is just annoying, and I think it always has been personally. But like, God, we have 2 or 3 more changes coming eventually, I think they said. Hopefully, I think those will go better. Because Exodus Crash is one of those, and that has been regarded as one of the worst strikes of all time for how long now? Almost a bunch of years, like 7 years. This is 6 or 7 years now. Regarded as one of the worst strikes ever made. So I don't think they could fuck it up that bad. The other ones, Insight Terminus was one of them, I think. I think it was all the Nessus strikes. Yeah. I hope those turn out well, because I like those strikes. I like the Nessus strikes outside of Exodus Crash. I think that one's bad. But yeah, I like the idea of updating strikes as we move along throughout the game to like say, hey, this world is ever changing and evolving. Here are the story progression throughout the core activities that you do. And we could see that in Crucible maps as well, especially since we're actually getting some now. That'd be very cool, Bungie. Gambit maps will also be a fun place in my opinion. No one else thinks so, but within strikes, I love the idea of updating them. Just keep the old ones too, just in case the new one isn't everyone's favorite. They could always play the old one too. Maybe the old one doesn't have a spot in the directory. I don't know how to solve that. Maybe it's a setting you could pick, like classic, the Lightfall version, and like you just separate it by the expansion it was. But like if we could have both versions at least in Vanguard Ops or as Nightfall, like in the Nightfall pool, I think that would be a massive improvement, Bungie. That's just my thoughts. I don't like a Shadows rework. It has a lot of problems. I think it does improve a couple things. Like I think the bridge sequence is a lot better. That was always my least favorite part of Lake of Shadows, because it was just like at the beginning you just get hit with a Phalanx boop unless you step to the side, and then after that it's just like you slowly crawl through. Now there's the Thresher, so there's an actual threat like from damage, and they're not just relying on a cheap gimmick of knocking you off with Phalanx boop, which I think that's way better. And I think the boss fight's a little better too. Like they changed how the boss fight tries to kill you with the pools of cum. But yeah, honestly, there's a few things that are better, but generally worse. Why the fuck is there a Tormentor just randomly there? Anyways, that's about it for this video. I just wanted to talk about Lake of Shadows for a second, because it's, you know, it's Lake of Shadows. Cool take, you're late. Anyways, please like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. Check that pinned comment down below for other things. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you next time.